What makes a place with only a handful of streets still feel deliberate? Why does Kingman, quiet as it is, sit exactly where it does, like it was meant to be more than just a stop on the prairie railroads? Hello and welcome to the video. If this is your first time here, my name is Mike. If you've been here before, my name is still Mike, but you would have known that already. Kingman began the way many prairie communities did in the early 1900s, because the railway needed a stop. When the Canadian Northern Railway pushed through central Alberta, small service points emerged along the tracks. They weren't built for charm or scenery. They were built for grain, for mail, for movement. Kingman grew up around that practical need. For a time, the railway defined everything. Grain elevators once stood as landmarks against the horizon, visible long before you reached town. Farmers hauled wheat to the siding. The post office connected families to the wider world, and like many prairie settlements, it developed a tight cluster of essential buildings: store, hall, church, all placed within walking distance because that's how daily life worked. Today, Kingman is part of Camrose County and carries that early structure quietly. The community hall is still in use, hosting local gatherings and events. The grid of streets still reflects the logic of rail-era planning, even though the trains no longer dictate the rhythm of the day. You can still trace where the tracks once mattered most. The town's footprint hasn't drifted, it's simply settled. There's no dramatic rise or fall here, just a steady narrowing. As highways replaced branch lines and farms consolidated, the urgency that created towns like Kingman softened. Businesses closed, and elevators came down across rural Alberta. But the place itself remained. Houses stayed occupied, roads stayed maintained, and the hall still opens its doors when needed. So why does Kingman feel deliberate? Well, because it was. It was placed with intention, measured by rail distance and agricultural output. Every street, every lot reflected the economic logic of its time. And even after the original reason for gathering there faded, the physical layout endured. Kingman today isn't trying to reinvent itself. It doesn't lean on spectacle or nostalgia. It functions as a small rural community shaped by early 20th century expansion and mid-century transition. Its scale matches its purpose. Its buildings reflect continuity more than change. What you see now is the result of a railway decision made over a century ago, refined by decades of adaptation but never erased. The trains may be gone, the grain elevators dismantled, but the settlement pattern remains. Kingman still sits where it does for a reason, and in that way, it's not just a quiet prairie stop. It's a preserved outline of how this part of Alberta was built. So if you enjoyed this little journey, give that like button a tap. It's free and oddly satisfying. If you haven't subscribed yet, just know I share a new small town story every week, weather permitting, of course. Feel free to pass this along to your aunt, your neighbor, or that one friend who still thinks Alberta ends in Calgary. They need this more than they know. And you'll find gradient imaging on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, because apparently I'm not busy enough. But until next week, drive safe, wave at strangers, and take the scenic route.